The massive silver ship hung in space above Earth like a floating city. Ambassador Valeth pressed his long, slender fingers against the viewing window and watched the blue planet spin slowly below. His deer-like ears twitched with nervous energy. After 300 years of searching, the Galactic Council had finally found another intelligent species. "They call themselves humans," said Dr. Korth, the Council's chief scientist. His rabbit-like nose wiggled as he spoke. "Early scans show they have built cities, developed technology, and even reached their moon." Valeth nodded. "Good. The Council always welcomes peaceful species. Have you prepared the standard greeting?" "Yes, Ambassador. We will invite them to join our great alliance of civilized worlds." The Galactic Council had been the galaxy's governing body for over 2,000 years. It was made up of dozens of species who had learned that cooperation was better than conflict. The Valathi, with their graceful movements and plant-based diet, served as diplomats. The Korthans, quick and clever, handled science and technology. The Zixians, with their beautiful feathers and musical voices, managed culture and communication. All of them had one thing in common. They were prey species who had survived by being smart instead of strong. Dr. Korth activated the communication array. "People of Earth, this is Dr. Korth of the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We wish to meet with your leaders and welcome you to the greater community of intelligent life." The response came faster than expected. "This is President Martinez of Earth. We welcome you to our solar system. Please send a small delegation to our space station." Within hours, Valeth and his team were aboard the human space station. The Tide humans who greeted them looked strange. They walked upright like council species, but something felt different. Their eyes faced forward instead of to the sides. Their teeth included sharp, pointed ones. And they moved with a confidence that made Valeth uncomfortable. "Welcome to humanity," said General Harrison, a tall man in a green uniform. "We're excited to learn about other intelligent life." The cultural exchange began immediately. Humans showed the aliens their art, music, and technology. The council delegates shared stories of their peaceful worlds and successful cooperation. But Dr. Korth could not stop studying the humans themselves. During a break, he pulled Valeth aside. "Ambassador, I need to run some tests. Something about these humans worries me." "What do you mean?" "Look at their anatomy. Forward-facing eyes suggest they track moving prey. Those teeth are designed for tearing meat. And watch how they move. They do not scan for danger like we do. They look for opportunities." Valeth dismissed the concern. "Many species eat meat, Doctor. That does not make them dangerous." But Dr. Korth insisted on running his scans. He studied human DNA, analyzed their bone structure, and researched their history through their own records. What he found made his fur stand on end. Humans were persistence hunters. Their ancestors had chased prey animals across vast distances until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Even worse, they had evolved from pack hunters who worked together to bring down larger, stronger animals. The doctor's hands shook as he read further. Human history was filled with warfare. They fought each other constantly, and each war made them better at fighting. They did not avoid conflict like civilized species. They seemed to seek it out. "Ambassador," Dr. Korth whispered urgently, "we need to leave. Now." "What? Why?" "These humans are not like us. They are predators. Apex predators." Valeth's eyes widened. "That's impossible. Predator species never develop advanced civilization. They destroy themselves fighting." "Not these ones. They learn to work together. They turn their hunting instincts into cooperation. But Ambassador, they still hunt. Look at this." Dr. Korth showed him human entertainment. Movies about hunting dangerous creatures. Sports where humans fought each other. Video games where the goal was to eliminate enemies. Even their children played games that involved hunting and fighting. "They enjoy conflict," Dr. Korth said. "They see it as entertainment." The final piece of evidence came from human military records. Humans had weapons that could destroy their entire planet. They had built these weapons not because they needed them, but because they could. They prepared for wars that might never come. Ambassador Valeth felt sick. "How many of them are there?" 8 billion on their planet, and they are expanding into space. That evening, Velith called an emergency meeting with the ship's senior staff. Around the conference table sat representatives from a dozen species. All of them had evolved from prey animals. All of them had built their civilizations on avoiding predators. "Ladies and gentlemen," Velith began, "we have a problem. The humans are not what they seem." He shared Dr. Korth's findings. The room grew, silent as the implications became clear. Captain Zixa, her bright blue feathers ruffled with fear, spoke first. "If they are pack hunters, they will not stay on their world. They will expand. They will hunt." "What do they hunt?" asked Commander Thex, his long ears flat against his head. "Everything," Dr. Korth replied. "Their records show they hunt for food, for sport, for trophies, and sometimes just for the challenge. They have hunted their own planet's apex predators to near extinction." The silence stretched on. Finally, Velith made the decision that would change the galaxy forever. "We classify them as a Class 7 predatory threat, maximum danger level." Gasps filled the room. No species had ever been given a Class 7 rating. "What does that mean for first contact?" asked Captain Zixa. "It means we end it. We establish a quarantine zone around their solar system. We do not let them spread to other worlds." "But Ambassador," protested Dr. Korth, "they have not attacked us. They have been friendly." "That is what makes them so dangerous," Velith replied. "They are intelligent enough to appear peaceful while they study us. They are learning our weaknesses." Within hours, the human delegation noticed the change. The aliens became distant and nervous. When General Harrison asked why, Velith struggled to find the right words. "We have learned much about your species," he finally said. "We believe it would be best if we ended cultural exchange for now." General Harrison's eyes narrowed. Those forward-facing predator eyes that seemed to look right through Velith. "I see," the human said quietly. "You're afraid of us." "We are simply being cautious. Because you figured out what we are." Velith said nothing, but his silence was answer enough. General Harrison smiled, showing those sharp canine teeth. "You know, General, in all our movies about meeting aliens, we always worried about the aliens being the dangerous ones. We never considered that we might be the monsters." "You are not monsters," Velith said quickly. "You are simply different." "Different," Harrison repeated. "Well, Ambassador, I hope this difference doesn't cause problems between our peoples." But as the alien ship left Earth's orbit, Velith knew it already had. The message he sent to the Galactic Council would reach every member world within days. The peaceful galaxy that had existed for millennia was about to change forever. And deep in his heart, Velith suspected that no quarantine zone would be strong enough to contain a species that had evolved to hunt the hunters. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called within 12 hours of Ambassador Velith's report reaching the capital world of Harmony Prime. Representatives from 47 species filled the great chamber, their worried voices creating a symphony of fear. High Chancellor Marin, eldest of the Valathi, called for silence with a gentle chime. Her ancient voice carried across the chamber. "Fellow council members, we face an unprecedented situation. A predator species has achieved spaceflight and advanced technology. Dr. Korth will present his findings." Dr. Korth's ears trembled as he activated the holographic display. Images of humans filled the air above the assembly. The delegates gasped at the sight of those forward-facing eyes and predatory teeth. "Honored Council, these humans represent everything our ancestors feared. They are pack hunters who never lost their killing instincts. Their entire planet is a hunting ground." The display showed human cities built on the bones of ancient civilizations, armies marching across continents, wars that lasted for years, with humans fighting other humans simply because they could. "Most disturbing," Dr. Korth continued, "is their relationship with conflict. Where we evolved to avoid danger, they evolved to seek it. They call it competition, sport, entertainment. They have turned killing into art." Delegate Quicks of the Korthans raised a paw. "But surely they can be reasoned with. They did seem willing to talk." That is what makes them so dangerous, replied Dr. Korth. They are intelligent predators. They study their prey before they strike. The chamber erupted in frightened chatter. Some delegates called for immediate military action. Others suggested offering the humans everything they wanted in exchange for staying away. High Chancellor Marin restored order. The Science Council recommends immediate quarantine. We will establish a containment zone around their solar system. No human ship will be allowed to leave. No council ship will enter. The vote was unanimous. Within days, the largest fleet in Orada Council history surrounded Earth's solar system. Thousands of ships from dozens of worlds formed a defensive barrier. The message to humanity was clear: stay home. But the galaxy was not entirely populated by prey species. On the rim worlds, where space was dark and dangerous, other eyes watched the Council's panic with interest. These were the worlds where the galaxy's predator species had been pushed after millennia of Council expansion. In the steel caves of Krill Prime, the Mantis Lords stirred. The Krillian Empire had once ruled a quarter of the galaxy before the Council's ancestors had united against them. Now they existed in the shadows, bitter and hungry. War Commander Skix spread his forearms wide as he addressed his fellow Mantis Lords. His compound eyes reflected the cold light of their underground chamber. The soft ones fear these humans, he clicked in the harsh Krillian language. Perhaps we should meet these predators ourselves. Are they threat or opportunity? Asked Battle Mother Vex, her razor-sharp claws scraping against stone. That remains to be seen. But any species that frightens the Council this much deserves our attention. Meanwhile, in the pack worlds of the Vorth Consortium, a different conversation was taking place. The wolf-like Vorth had maintained an uneasy peace with the Council, trading their military services for the right to exist. Pack leader Fenris studied the human images with keen yellow eyes. Unlike the Krillians, who were solitary hunters, the Vorth understood pack dynamics. What he saw in the humans looked familiar. They hunt in groups, he said to his lieutenants. Like us, but their packs are larger. Should we fear them, pack leader? Asked Scout Alpha Raven. Perhaps. Or perhaps we should speak with them. It has been long since we met others who understand the hunt. Back on Earth, President Martinez stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by military advisors and scientists. The alien quarantine had been in place for 3 weeks, and humanity was beginning to understand their position. So let me get this straight, the president said. They're afraid of us because we're predators? That's the assessment, sir, replied Dr. Sarah Chen, the mission's chief xenobiologist. Every species in their council evolved from prey animals. To them, we're the monsters from their nightmares. General Harrison, who had met with the aliens, shook his head. We offered them friendship, and they responded with a blockade. Can we break through? Asked the president. Admiral Rodriguez pulled up star charts. Their fleet is massive, sir. Thousands of ships. But our intelligence suggests their technology is defensive in nature. They're not warriors. What about these other species Dr. Chen mentioned? The predators? Unknown, sir. The Council pushed them to the edge of the galaxy centuries ago. We have no direct intelligence on their capabilities. The president made a decision that would echo across the stars. We're not staying in our solar system like prisoners. If they want to treat us like dangerous predators, maybe it's time to show them what human predators can actually do. He turned to General Harrison. Begin Project Apex. I want our best pilots, our fastest ships, and our most advanced weapons ready for action. What's the mission, sir? We're going hunting. The first sign that the quarantine would not hold came 3 days later. A patrol of Council ships detected an unknown vessel approaching from the galactic rim. It was sleek, black, and fast. Captain Thex of the Valathi Defense Force hailed the approaching ship. Unknown vessel, you are entering a restricted zone. Please identify yourself. The response came in a language the ship's computers had never heard. Then, without warning, the unknown vessel accelerated beyond anything the Council had thought possible. The ship buzzed the patrol formation, moving, so fast that the Council vessels couldn't track it properly. But it didn't attack. Instead, it seemed to be studying them, learning their formations and weapons. Captain Thex tried to follow, but his ship was designed for defense, not pursuit. The unknown vessel disappeared into the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. "Report to command," Thex said to his communications officer. "Tell them we have a problem. Something else is interested in the humans." On the bridge of the mysterious ship, War Commander Skix studied the sensor readings of the Council vessels. His compound eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Weak ships," he clicked to his crew. "Designed by prey for prey." "What of the humans, War Commander?" asked his second. "We will test them. If they are true predators, they will respond to a challenge. If they are merely animals with tools, we will crush them quickly." Deep in the ship's weapon bays, Krillian warriors prepared their hunting gear. Each was a perfect killing machine, evolved over millions of years to be the ultimate solo hunter. They had never met prey that could fight back effectively. They were about to learn what American military training could do to change those odds. Meanwhile, pack leader Fenris was making his own preparations. The Vorth ship moved through hyperspace, toward the Sol system, carrying a message of potential alliance. Unlike the Krillians, Fenris understood that the most dangerous predators were those who hunted in coordinated packs. And from what he had seen of human military formations, these new predators might be the most dangerous pack hunters the galaxy had ever seen. The galaxy was about to discover that 8 billion apex predators with nuclear weapons and a competitive streak was something none of them were prepared for. General Patricia Hayes stood in the Pentagon's most classified briefing room, watching as scientists and military strategists filled the chairs around the massive table. Project Apex had been active for only 2 weeks, but it had already become the most important military program in human history. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "the aliens think we're dangerous. They're right, but they don't understand just how dangerous." Dr. Chen activated the holographic display, showing the alien fleet surrounding their solar system. "The Galactic Council has 47 member species, all evolved from prey animals. They've never dealt with a predator species that achieved technology." "What about these other predators they mentioned?" asked Colonel Martinez from the Air Force. "2 main groups," replied Dr. Chen. "The Krillians are individual hunters like giant mantises, very dangerous one-on-one. The Vorth are pack hunters, similar to wolves. Both were pushed to the edge of the galaxy by the Council." General Hayes nodded. "Our intelligence suggests both groups are now moving toward Earth. The Krillians seem aggressive. The Vorth might be looking for allies." Admiral Thompson leaned forward. "What's our strategy, General?" "Simple," Hayes replied. "We show the galaxy what American military doctrine can do. We're not staying locked up in our solar system. If they want to see predators, we'll give them a demonstration they'll never forget." The first element of the American doctrine was already in motion. 3 modified F-35 fighters hung in space near the asteroid belt, their pilots waiting for contact with the mysterious black ship that had buzzed the alien patrols. Captain Jake, Reaper Williams checked his instruments one more time. The F-35 had been modified with experimental technology reverse-engineered from alien scanner data. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. "Reaper, this is Control," came the voice in his headset. "Bogey approaching from your 6 o'clock, moving fast. Copy that, Control. Viper 2 and Viper 3, let's go say hello." The Krillian scout ship emerged from behind an asteroid, its black hull gleaming in the starlight. War Commander Skix studied the 3 small human craft approaching his position. "Primitive," he clicked to his crew. "Chemical rockets and metal shells. This will be quick." But as the human fighters closed in, Skix noticed something strange. They weren't fleeing or trying to establish communication. They were maneuvering into attack formation. "Reaper to Control," came the voice over the radio. "Bogey looks like a big bug. Permission to engage?" "Negative, Reaper. Observe and report." Captain Williams grinned inside his helmet. "Copy that. We're just going to get a closer look." The F-35 split into a wide formation, approaching the alien ship from 3 directions. Skix watched with growing interest. These humans moved like hunters, not prey. When the lead fighter came within weapons range, Skix fired a warning shot. A beam of energy lanced out, missing the human craft by meters. "Well, that was rude," Williams said calmly. Viper 2, did you see that energy signature? Affirmative, Reaper. Looks like directed plasma. Nothing we can't handle. Skix fired again, this time aiming to disable the lead craft. But the human pilot rolled away from the beam with casual ease, then accelerated directly toward the Krillian. Ship. What is it doing? Clicked Skix's weapons officer. The human fighter buzzed the alien ship's hull, passing so close that its wingtip almost scraped the armor plating. Then it pulled up and away, performing a perfect barrel roll as it climbed. Did he just show off? Asked Viper 3. Oh, he's playing with us, Williams replied, his voice filled with delight. Control requesting permission to play back. Reaper, your orders are to observe. We are observing, sir. We're just doing it up close and personal. What happened next would be talked about in military academies for decades. The 3 F-35s began what could only be described as an aerial dance around the alien ship. They dove, climbed, rolled, and spun in formations that should have been impossible in space. Skix tried to target them, but they moved like nothing he had ever hunted. Every time he locked onto one, it would vanish behind another, or perform a maneuver that broke his targeting computer's calculations. War Commander, his pilot said nervously. They are toying with us. Skix's compound eyes narrowed. No, they are showing us what they can do. These are not prey animals. These are apex predators. The demonstration lasted for 20 minutes. The humans never fired a shot, but they proved that the Krillian ship, despite its advanced technology, could not catch or effectively target them. Finally, Captain Williams opened a communication channel. Hey there, Bug Boy. Tell your friends that humans say hello, and next time you want to dance, bring better music. The F-35s formed up and flew away, leaving Skix staring after them in shock. War Commander, his second officer asked, what are your orders? Skix was quiet for a long moment. Then he clicked what might have been laughter. Send a message to the Hive Lords. Tell them we have found worthy prey. Begin preparations for the grand hunt. Back on Earth, the footage from the encounter was being analyzed by every military intelligence agency in the world, but it was the reaction of the pilots that caught everyone's attention. Did you hear Williams? Asked Dr. Chen as she replayed the audio. He was laughing during combat. He treated a potentially deadly first contact like entertainment. General, Hayes smiled. That's what makes us different, Doctor. We don't just fight to survive, we fight because we enjoy the challenge. The second demonstration came 3 days later when the Vorth ship approached the outer edge of the solar system. Unlike the Krillians, they came broadcasting a message of peace. Humans of Earth, came the transmission in surprisingly good English. I am Pack Leader Fenris of the Vorth Consortium. We wish to speak with your Alpha leaders. President Martinez decided to handle this meeting personally. The encounter took place aboard the International Space Station, with full military escort. Pack Leader Fenris was impressive even by human standards. Standing 7 feet tall with silver fur and intelligent yellow eyes, he moved with the controlled grace of a natural predator. Your people have frightened the prey species, he said without preamble. They see you as monsters. And what do you see us as? Asked President Martinez. Fenris smiled, showing sharp white teeth. Fellow hunters, but perhaps more dangerous than even my people. How so? My species hunts in packs of 10 or 20. Your species hunts in packs of millions. You have turned your entire planet into one massive hunting ground, and you compete with each other to become better hunters. The president nodded. The aliens want to keep us locked in our solar system. Yes, they are afraid you will spread across the galaxy like we did long ago. What do you suggest? Fenris leaned forward. Prove that you are the apex predators. Show the galaxy that even the other predator species should fear you. Break their quarantine. Hunt something that has never been hunted before. The Krillians? Perfect. Choice. They believe themselves to be the ultimate individual hunters. They have terrorized this galaxy for millennia. If you can hunt the hunters, the entire galaxy will know what humans are capable of. President Martinez considered this. And if we succeed? Then the Vorth will be honored to call humans our pack brothers. Together we could rule this galaxy. We don't want to rule anyone. We just want our freedom. Fenris laughed, a sound like distant thunder. Spoken like a true apex predator. You are so confident in your abilities that you do not need to dominate others to prove your worth. As the meeting ended, Fenris left the humans with one final piece of advice. The Krillians are preparing for what they call the Grand Hunt. They intend to invade your solar system and prove that humans are inferior prey. I suggest you prepare to teach them otherwise. 2 weeks later, General Hayes stood before a room full of America's finest military personnel. Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Marine Force Recon, and Air Force para-rescue specialists filled the briefing room. Gentlemen and ladies, she began, you've been selected for humanity's first interstellar hunting expedition. The target is a species that considers itself the galaxy's apex predator. Your mission is to prove them wrong. A hand went up from the SEAL section. What's the rules of engagement, ma'am? Hayes smiled. The Krillians are coming here to hunt humans. We're going to turn the tables, show them what it means to be hunted by Americans. The room erupted in grins and quiet cheers. These were warriors who had trained their entire lives for the ultimate challenge. When do we start? Asked a Marine colonel. They'll be here in 6 weeks. Plenty of time to prepare. Remember, people, this isn't just about defending Earth. This is about establishing humanity's place in the galaxy. Make it count. The Krillian warfleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system like a swarm of giant metal insects. 50 massive ships, each one a living weapon designed for hunting and killing. War Commander Skix stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the primitive blue world that had dared to challenge Krillian supremacy. War Commander, reported his scanner officer, the soft council ships are retreating beyond the outer planets. They flee from our approach. Skix clicked his approval. Good. We hunt alone, as it should be. What of the human defenses? Minimal, War Commander. A few small craft moving between their worlds. Some orbital stations. Nothing that can threaten the Great Hunt. But Skix was more careful than his crew. The encounter with the human fighters had taught him that these predators were not to be underestimated. Maintain formation. Send hunter scouts to probe their defenses. We study our prey before we strike. On Earth, General Hayes watched the alien fleets approach from the Pentagon's war room. Banks of screens showed real-time data from satellites, space stations, and patrol ships. Ma'am, reported Colonel Martinez, the Krillian fleet has stopped at the asteroid belt. They're sending out smaller ships. Perfect, Hayes replied. Phase 1 is working. Admiral Thompson, are your people ready? Admiral Thompson nodded from the Naval Command Center. USS Nevada is in position, ma'am. The crew is eager to test their new toys. The USS Nevada was humanity's first space-worthy nuclear submarine, hastily modified with alien technology captured from previous encounters. It drifted silently in the asteroid field, hidden among the space rocks like a predator waiting to strike. Commander Sarah Blake watched her sonar screen as 3 Krillian scout ships approached her position. Each alien vessel was 3 times the size of her submarine, armed with energy weapons that could cut through steel like paper. Contact bearing 040, whispered Sonar Chief Peterson. Range 2,000 meters and closing. All stop, Blake ordered quietly. Silent running. Let them come to us. The Krillian scouts moved through the asteroid field like sharks through water, their sensors probing every shadow. They had hunted for thousands of years and had never encountered prey that could hide from them effectively. Scout Commander Zek studied his instruments with growing frustration. These asteroids interfere with our sensors. The humans could be anywhere. Perhaps there are no humans here, suggested his pilot. Perhaps they hide on their world like the other prey species. No, Zek clicked. I can sense them. They are here, watching, waiting. He was right. Commander Blake had been tracking all 3 scouts for 10 minutes, learning their movement patterns and identifying their weaknesses. Weapons, she whispered. Solution on target 1. Solution ready, ma'am. Fire. The torpedo was not like any weapon the galaxy had seen before. It was a fusion of human engineering and alien technology, guided by artificial intelligence and armed with a nuclear warhead. It moved through space silently, invisible to Krillian sensors until it was too late. The explosion turned Scout Commander Zek's ship into expanding gas and metal fragments. The other two scouts spun around, searching desperately for their attacker. "Where did that come from?" demanded Zek's wing commander. The answer came in the form of 2 more torpedoes, each finding its target with deadly precision. Within 30 seconds, all 3 scout ships were destroyed. But Commander Blake was not finished. As the debris spread through space, her submarine emerged from its hiding place among the asteroids. The crew worked quickly to recover pieces of Krillian technology while the evidence of the attack drifted away. "Control, this is Nevada," Blake reported. 3 targets neutralized, samples recovered, moving to secondary position. On the Krillian flagship, alarms wailed as the loss of the scouts was detected. War Commander Skix stared at his tactical display in disbelief. "Gone?" he clicked. "All 3 scouts?" "Yes, War Commander. No distress signals, no sensor contacts. They simply vanished." Skix's compound eyes gleamed with something that might have been excitement. "Impossible. Nothing can hide from Krillian hunters. Perhaps the humans have better stealth technology than we estimated," suggested his second. "Or perhaps," Skix said, slowly, "they are better hunters than we estimated." The war commander made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his very short life. "Send in the Hunter Alphas. If the humans want to play hiding games, we will show them what real hunters can do." The Hunter Alphas were the Krillian Empire's elite warriors. Each one was a living weapon, evolved over millions of years to be the perfect solo predator. They had never been defeated in single combat. 6 Hunter Alpha ships detached from the main fleet and headed toward Earth. Each one carried a warrior that had terrorized entire star systems. But they were about to discover that Americans had been preparing for their arrival. Major Lisa Rodriguez crouched in the cargo bay of a modified space shuttle, checking her equipment one last time. Around her, 11 other members of Delta Force made their final preparations. "Remember the plan," she said to her team. "These aliens are supposed to be the ultimate individual hunters. Our job is to show them what American teamwork can accomplish." The shuttle drifted through space, appearing to be nothing more than debris from an old satellite. Its engines were cold, its electronics silent. To Krillian sensors, it looked like space junk. Hunter Alpha Vex studied the human orbital facilities through his ship's viewports. The prey species had built stations and platforms around their world, but none of them seemed to be defended. "Soft targets," he clicked to himself. "This will be easier than hunting Velothi younglings." He selected a communications relay station and moved his ship into position for boarding. The Hunter Alpha's preferred method was to board enemy vessels and hunt the crew through their own corridors. As his ship docked with the human station, Vex activated his personal armor and weapons. He was 8 feet of chitinous nightmare, armed with energy claws and equipped with sensors that could track prey through solid walls. What he found inside the station confused him. There were no humans. The corridors were empty, the lights dim, but his sensors detected 12 life forms hiding in the station's depths. "Ah," he clicked with satisfaction. They huddled together in fear. This will be entertaining. Vex began his hunt, moving through the corridors with the patience of a natural predator. He had all the time in the universe to track down his prey. He never suspected that the prey was hunting him. Major Rodriguez and her team had been waiting in the station for 3 days. They knew everything about the facility's layout, every vent and access tunnel, every blind spot and ambush point. "Target is in Corridor 7, whispered Sergeant Kim through the comm system. "Moving toward Section C." "Roger that," Rodriguez replied. Teams 2 and 3 moved to intercept positions. Team 1 with me. The Delta Force operators moved through the station like ghosts, using passages that Vex didn't even know existed. They had studied Krillian anatomy from the scout ship wreckage and knew exactly how to hurt these aliens. Vex rounded a corner and found himself facing an empty corridor. His sensors told him that humans had been here moments before, but now there was nothing. Where did they go? He wondered aloud. The answer came from above. Major Rodriguez dropped through a ceiling panel directly onto the alien's back. While her team members emerged from side passages with weapons drawn, Vex spun around, his claws sparking with energy. But the humans were already moving. They fought as a unit, covering each other's movements and attacking from multiple angles. The Hunter Alpha had never faced anything like it. Individual prey he could handle, but these humans moved like parts of a single organism, anticipating each other's actions and working together with deadly efficiency. Impossible, he clicked as human weapons found the weak points in his armor. How do they move so fast? Practice, Major Rodriguez replied as she placed a shaped charge against the alien's chest. Lots and lots of practice. The explosion echoed through the station. When the smoke cleared, Hunter Alpha Vex was down, his armor cracked, and his weapons scattered. Control, this is Rodriguez, the Major reported. Package secured. One very surprised alien hunter ready for pickup. Similar scenes played out across the solar system as American Special Forces engaged the other Hunter Alphas. Navy SEALs boarded alien ships in the middle of space battles. Army Rangers set ambushes in asteroid mining facilities. Marine Force, recon teams hunted the hunters through the corridors of space stations. Within 12 hours, all 6 Hunter Alpha warriors had been captured or killed. Not a single American casualty. On the Krillian flagship, War Commander Skix stared at his tactical display in growing horror. His elite hunters, warriors who had never been defeated, had been systematically eliminated by human prey. How is this possible? He demanded. War Commander, his communications officer reported. We are receiving a transmission from the humans. Put it through. General Hayes appeared on the main screen, speaking from the Pentagon. War Commander Skix, this is General Patricia Hayes, United States Armed Forces. We have something that belongs to you. The screen split to show the captured Hunter Alpha warriors, all of them bound and under guard by grinning American soldiers. Your move, Bug Boy, Hayes said with a smile that showed entirely too many teeth. Want to try for double or nothing? War Commander Skix stared at the human general on his screen, his compound eyes reflecting the cold rage of a predator that had been humiliated. Around him, the bridge crew waited in tense silence for his response. You dare mock the Krillian Empire? He clicked in fury. We are the apex predators of this galaxy. General Hayes smiled that terrifying human smile. Were, past tense. As of today, there's a new apex predator in town. Impossible, you are prey. You hide behind technology and tricks. No, Hayes replied calmly. We adapt. It's what we do best. Skix cut the transmission and turned to his officers. Prepare the fleet for full assault. We will show these humans what real predators can accomplish. But as the Krillian ships moved toward Earth, they found themselves facing something no prey species had ever possessed. A coordinated military response designed by 8 billion apex predators working together. The battle for Earth began at dawn, Pacific time. 50 Krillian warships descended on the planet like falling stars, their energy weapons turning night into day. They expected to find a helpless world cowering before their might. Instead, they found a trap. The first wave of Krillian fighters screamed down through Earth's atmosphere, targeting major cities. As they dove toward New York, a flight of F-22 Raptors rose to meet them. Captain Maria Santos pulled her fighter into a vertical climb, watching the alien craft on her instruments. Control, this is Falcon Leader, engaging bandits over Manhattan. Copy, Falcon Leader. Light them up. What followed was not a battle, it was a demonstration. The human pilots had studied every piece of Krillian technology recovered from the scout ships. They knew the aliens' weapons, their flight patterns, their tactical preferences. The Krillian fighters were fast and heavily armed, but they were designed for hunting individual prey, not fighting coordinated squadrons of trained pilots. Falcon 2, break left, Santos called as she rolled her F-22 into an impossible turn. Falcon 3, you have a shot. The alien fighters fell from the sky like burning meteors. Their pilots, elite hunters who had terrorized a dozen star systems, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by human prey they had dismissed as primitive. Similar scenes played out over every major city on Earth. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Los Angeles. Wherever the Krillians attacked, They found American pilots waiting for them with weapons that shouldn't have been possible. But the real surprise came when the Krillian capital ships tried to establish orbital superiority. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the USS Enterprise, humanity's first space-capable aircraft carrier. The massive ship hung in orbit above Earth, its flight decks launching squadron after squadron of modified fighters. "Admiral," reported her tactical officer. "Krillian dreadnought approaching from bearing 270. She's big, ma'am." 3 times our size. "Size isn't everything, Commander. Launch the Hornets." The FA-18 Hornets that screamed away from the Enterprise looked like standard Navy fighters, but their missiles carried warheads reverse-engineered from Krillian technology. Human weapons powered by alien science. War Commander Skix watched from his flagship as his dreadnought engaged the human carrier. This should have been simple. One Krillian ship could easily destroy a dozen human vessels. But the humans didn't fight like any prey species the Krillians had ever encountered. The carrier launched fighter after fighter, each one carrying weapons that could actually hurt Krillian armor. Worse, they fought as a coordinated unit, covering each other and attacking from multiple directions. War Commander, his weapons officer, reported, "The Devastator is taking heavy damage. The humans are targeting her weapon arrays with surgical precision." "How do they know our weak points?" "Unknown, sir. It's as if they studied our ship designs." They had. American intelligence had been analyzing every piece of Krillian wreckage for weeks, identifying vulnerabilities and developing countermeasures. The Devastator, pride of the Krillian fleet, broke apart under concentrated human fire. As it exploded, Admiral Rodriguez opened a channel to the remaining alien ships. "Attention, Krillian vessels. This is Admiral Sofia Rodriguez, United States Navy. You are in violation of Earth's territorial space. Surrender now or be destroyed." The response was predictable. The Krillians came straight at the human fleet with everything they had. It was exactly what the Americans had been hoping for. "All ships," Rodriguez broadcast, "execute Order 66. Across the solar system, human ships that had been playing dead suddenly came to life. Hidden missile platforms emerged from asteroid fields. Submarines that had been drifting in the void powered up their weapons. The Krillian fleet found itself surrounded by an enemy that had turned the entire solar system into a hunting ground. "Impossible!" Skix clicked as his tactical display lit up with hundreds of human contacts. Where did they all come from? The answer was simple. Americans had been preparing for this fight since the moment they learned about the Krillian Empire. Every military base on Earth had been converted to support space operations. Every submarine had been fitted with rockets. Every fighter pilot had been trained for zero-gravity combat. The United States military had done what it did best, adapt to a new threat and figure out how to destroy it. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Krillian Empire's finest fleet was nothing but scrap metal drifting in Earth's orbit. War Commander Skix himself was pulled from the wreckage of his flagship by a team of Navy SEALs. "Well, look what we caught," said Chief Petty Officer Johnson as they dragged the alien commander aboard their assault craft. The biggest bug in the jar. 3 days later, Pack Leader Fenris arrived at Earth with a Vorth fleet of 30 ships. But instead of coming as potential enemies, they came to witness the aftermath of the greatest hunt in galactic history. Fenris stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the debris field that had once been the Krillian war fleet. His yellow eyes gleamed with something approaching awe. "Magnificent," he growled to his officers. "The humans have done what no species has accomplished in 3,000 years. They have broken the Krillian Empire." "What are your orders, Pack Leader?" asked his second-in-command. "Signal the human fleet. Request permission to come aboard their command ship. I wish to speak with these apex predators personally." The meeting took place aboard the USS Enterprise. Pack Leader Fenris, standing 7 feet tall and radiating predatory power, faced General Hayes and Admiral Rodriguez in the ship's conference room. "You have impressed my people," Fenris said without preamble. "The Vorth Consortium wishes to propose an alliance." "What kind of alliance?" asked Hayes. "A partnership between apex predators. You have proven that humans are the dominant hunters in this galaxy. The Vorth would be honored to serve as your pack brothers. Admiral Rodriguez leaned forward. What does that mean exactly? It means the Vorth worlds will recognize human authority. In exchange, we ask only that you allow us to join your hunts. Together, we could rule this galaxy. General Hayes shook her head. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want our freedom to explore it. Fenris laughed, showing sharp white teeth. Even better. A species so confident in its abilities that it doesn't need to dominate others. You are truly the apex predators. Word of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light. On every council world, prey species huddled in their homes and tried to understand what had happened. The Krillian Empire, which had terrorized. The galaxy for millennia had been destroyed in a single battle by a species that had only reached space a few centuries ago. High Chancellor Marin called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. When the delegates assembled, they found a new seat at the table, one occupied by General Hayes herself. Honored Council, Marin said, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. We must discuss the situation with the human species. The situation is simple, Hayes replied. The quarantine is over. Humanity is claiming its place in galactic society. But you are predators, protested Delegate Quicks of the Corthans. You will hunt us. Hayes looked around the table at the assembled prey species. Actually, we won't. You're not challenging enough to be interesting. The blunt honesty of the statement was somehow more terrifying than any threat. What do you want from us? Asked Chancellor Marin. Trade agreements, cultural exchange, tourist visas, the same things any species wants. And if we refuse, Hayes smiled that human smile, then you'll miss out on some very profitable opportunities. But that's your choice. 6 months later, the galaxy had settled into a new reality. The human flag flew over embassies on dozens of worlds. American hunting lodges advertised galactic safari packages for adventure tourists. The Pentagon had established the Interstellar Hunting Corps, elite units trained to track and capture the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. In the former Krillian territories, human colonists were building new settlements. The prey species of the Council had discovered that humans made excellent protectors, as long as you stayed on their good side. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Deep Space Station Armstrong, humanity's first permanent outpost, beyond the solar system. Through the massive windows, she could see human ships coming and going, carrying explorers, traders, and yes, hunters to every corner of the galaxy.